Welcome to another episode of It's Our Time. I'm your host, Edidiong Obot, and today I have a special guest with me, Miss Michelle Ngome. Thank you for joining us today, Miss Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself. What school did you go to? Any degrees you have? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm living my life.
Living my
best life.
I like that.
But I'm very, very fortunate. I'm actually from Atlanta.
Okay.
So I went to high school in Atlanta.
ATL in the building. Okay.
Southwest, SWAT.
Oh.
Southwest Atlanta, Southwest A-Leaf, Texas.
Okay. Listen, y'all, from the A-Leaf, shout out to A-Leaf. Okay.
So, 2 days after graduation from high school, I moved here to Houston, Texas. So it's been 17, going on 18 years now.
Wow.
Started at University of Houston.
Okay, go cool.
Stumbled through, eventually received my bachelor's in business administration and finance at University of Houston, Victoria.
Okay.
And then I got a second degree, a master's in internet marketing.
Wow.
So I did corporate finance for about 7 years. And then I left in 2013. I started my small business, Line 25 Consulting, where I help small business owners on digital marketing strategies in order for them to become an expert in their niche.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's a lot to download. Pretty much she's a beast. Got it. No, but how did you, let's talk about that transition of quitting your corporate and moving into the entrepreneurial side. I know a lot of times it's very scary, right? Fear of the unknown, as most people say, because you got to take that first step out of something that you know is routine to something that you don't know what it would look like. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so what a lot of people don't know is Line 25 Consulting's technically my third company.
Oh, okay.
So I've started other companies and a nonprofit in my early 20s. So I had a few things in place. Made sure, I had the money saved, had clients already lined up, but there's still that unknown, right? So I thought I had everything worked out. And then 2 weeks after me quitting corporate, my uncle passed away.
Wow.
And you know how anytime there's a death in our family, in our culture, we start raising money and we, I put everything on hold to help my mom. So it was like, that's the big unknown transition. So the money I thought I had saved for me was
no longer had it.
It was gone a little bit quicker than expected.
Okay.
But, I encourage everyone to keep their job. And then, really have a plan. It's okay, what's my deadline? How much money do I need to save as far as personal and business expenses? What can I pay off as well? And, see what you can do. Like, maybe can I go down a part-time employee? Can I become a contractor of the same company that you work for?
Okay.
And maybe you have a little bit more flexibility.
Right.
With your company or that job. And definitely make sure you have some clients under your belt before you decide to leave your corporate position.
Okay, so talk to us about like your business plan. When you say you had 3 companies before, so how did you know this current one, the Line 25 one, would be a better business plan than the ones that you started before?
Yeah, so I had 2 companies before, so one marketing company and then one nonprofit. I think this is a combination of things, experience, so I failed in other areas when I had those companies, so I didn't make that same mistake, but I failed in other areas of Line 25.
Right.
So it's all a learning process. But I think the good thing was when I started Line 25 Consulting, I was actually in grad school.
Okay.
So a lot of the things that I was learning in class, I was able to apply that to my business and my marketing plan. And then, we were talking about leadership programs. So I was serving in different leadership capacities, which was allowing me to gain exposure to other small business owners and mentors and get that advice and apply it to pretty much the foundation, the business plan and the marketing plan before I fully launched my company.
Okay. So for those people out there that want to pursue entrepreneurship, yet they're still kind of hesitant, what is some advice that you would give them? Plan.
Embrace yourself. Fail and plan again. No, it's one of those things. I think as much as you prepare yourself, there's the unknown, right? You just don't know what it is. It could be life, it could be business. but try to have as much as possible organized, whether that's buying supplies, going to conferences, learning material. Really consider your cash flow, right? A lot of people, we're used to our income getting paid every 2 weeks, and then when you're in business, it's pretty much 100% sales, right? Whatever you bring in. But I feel like cash flow still applies. You know, how much money do you need to bring in on a regular basis to cover personal, business expenses, disposable income. We're still trying to have a little bit of fun, you know? So just plan everything, the business plan, the marketing plan, your financials, just plan everything and try to embrace yourself and have a financial cushion, the best way possible.
Okay. So let's kind of follow this path.
Okay.
In terms of your support system, all right. First of all, tell us what heritage or culture your family's from.
So my parents are from Cameroon.
Cameroon in the building, y'all. And so I'm talking about support because I know that lots of times the stereotype in the African household is, you know, I don't know what this is. This is not going to make money.
Yeah.
You know, why don't you do something that we know will make money? So did you have that kind of support system from your family to pursue your own business after quitting the corporate job? How did that work for you?
No, yes and no. I mean, that's always a hard one because, of course, growing up, it's like you need to be a nurse, doctor,
lawyer, engineer, something,
guaranteed money, right? But I think the funny thing is, my parents have always had businesses or side businesses, you know. I mean, I remember when I was young helping my mom in the flea market, selling black art and other items.
Wow.
And I'm like, I've got this drive because of you.
You guys instilled this in me, right?
You're telling me no. That's not fair. But I think it's one of those things where, and I talk about this in my book, Success Undefined, where people will project their fears onto you.
Yeah.
And just
very true.
People will project their successes onto you. So what do I mean by that? So we know doctors make a lot of money, a lot of money is relative. But we know that's a good profession, income-wise, prestige-wise, so be a doctor, right? Because that's some measurement of success. And then the fear part is, well, you know, XYZ businesses fail every year. So you're going to fail too. And I'm like, that's not the case. But I think at this point, being in business for 4 years, my mom, she sees I'm committed. Right. So then she has to respect it. And it's just not an overnight thing, but it's like, okay, you know, I'm getting paid for this, I'm getting paid for that. And I think because of my commitment level, she's more committed to me and my business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk about some of the sacrifices you had to make in order to make your current business work, be successful in a sense.
I think the most immediate sacrifice when it comes to launching a business is definitely your time when it comes to hanging out with family and friends. As well as even the money side, because, you know, maybe you can't make it to every dinner, every networking event, every birthday party, or those annual trips, especially when we are at our age, because, you know, we get our bachelor's degree, I say somewhere between 21 to 25. Some of us may or may not go to grad school. But by the time you're 25, you're making good income. And it's probably making the most money. And you got all this disposable income, and you're doing things with your friends. And then now you want to start this business and you scale back.
And you're uncomfortable.
You're uncomfortable. Like, I don't have it like I used to. You know? And you start missing things. And I think that was the most immediate impact when I launched my business. Like, I remember clearly, I think almost 5 years ago now, in August 2013, I took a vacation with friends to Puerto Rico. It's like, well, this is going to be my last vacation for a while.
Enjoy it while you can.
And it has been. And it's not that, you know, it's just, once again, having that disposable income. You know, because you're so worried about cash flow. And I think I've sacrificed in other areas, you know, if we get personal, maybe even dating, because I get so hyper-focused and tunnel vision as to how I need to grow my company. I need more money.
Right.
And so those are some of the things that
you have to sacrifice.
Just try to figure out.
Okay. trying to, and you're still trying to figure it out.
Every day.
So,
yeah.
Okay. So, not to go backwards too much, but you talked about you had a degree in finance and then a degree in internet marketing.
Correct.
So, talk about that, because those are like two different like areas. How did you move from finance to now into marketing?
Yeah, well, when I was an undergrad, I probably changed my degree like 11 times. But what happened, eventually I stumbled across banking.
Okay.
I got into banking. I was fortunate to work for Citi Financial, JP Morgan Chase. And JP Morgan Chase, they offer tuition reimbursement.
Wow.
And I remember I was going to get a degree in marketing. And my supervisor was like, well, you're already in banking, and you know, Chase is a big bank with so many departments that I could go in. Why not get a degree in finance? And I was like, oh, okay. So that's how that came about. And at that time, I was in love with finance and banking, and I had a 20-year career plan. Yes, I was going to retire with Chase. He couldn't tell me nothing. But what a lot of people don't know, and I don't talk about, is before I got into banking, I was actually doing marketing on the entertainment side.
Oh.
So I was doing a lot of marketing for some of the independent artists and labels here, especially around that 2004 to 2007 when Houston was really hot.
Yeah.
We had the Super Bowl and then Swisher House, and a lot of those rappers were getting the recognition that they needed.
Exactly, yeah. So
I was doing a lot of street team work, just a lot of independent stuff. Independent shows, working on video sets, and so yeah, I don't talk about that much, but I was getting a lot of my marketing experience comes from that guerrilla marketing. And even though I was working at bank, people were still contacting me.
Right.
I was like, I can't leave this marketing thing alone.
Right.
And you know, over time, it just changed, and internet marketing at Full Sail was pretty much the best thing to offer. That was the most relevant, I think 2012, 2013.
Okay.
Especially with social media.
Right.
Just all of the internet marketing that falls underneath that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned that you had a book, and you said, in my book, XYZ.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
You're an author? No, she's an author, y'all. I actually have her first book. And it was definitely an amazing tool, so definitely you guys get it. But I want her to talk more about her books. So if you could tell us what books you have, where people can get it from, and what are they about.
Okay. So my first book, Network, Navigate, and Nurture, The Equation to Strategic Networking, came out in 2014. And honestly, that book was based off of people coming up to me and asking me questions. You know, I was fortunate to meet you at the Houston Area Urban League Young Professional within that organization, and people were like, how do you network? Or well, not so much that, how do you know so many people?
Right,
because
Michelle is popular, y'all. She is popular.
And the people were just asking me questions, and I was like, I think I got something here.
Okay.
And but I put that on the back burner because I was in grad school, and eventually I just came to write it. So that book was really just a bunch of questions, and I formatted it properly, and I think that really helped me grow my business over the past 3 years. And in September last year, I released my second book called Success Undefined, where I actually wrote that during Harvey.
Wow.
And you know, I was like, the concept was already there, and I was fortunate not to have any physical damage during Harvey, and something during that time, I just wrote it.
Wow.
You know, so that book is special because it's really about working while you're pushing through fears. Right? I think fear is always going to come in and out.
Right.
But working through that, and then reshaping, like, how do we define success?
Right.
And I talk about how, you know, growing up watching the lifestyles of the rich and famous, where, you know, the caviar dreams and champagne,
right.
You know,
Caviar,
you think
champagne,
you're gonna have Mercedes,
yachts,
big house.
and The mansion.
And it's like, no. But I want people to understand, like, if you complete a task, a goal, you are successful.
That's right. Yeah.
If you got your degree, you are successful.
Yeah.
If you're able to stay at your job for 2, 3, 4, 20 years, you are successful. If you're able to do this show, step out, create a platform for yourself, you are successful. So I just want to encourage people to redefine what success looks like for them,
right.
Beyond money and accolades. And I just write from my heart. I just write from my heart, and those books are available on Amazon. So yeah.
Okay. okay. And again, Michelle Ngome, author. You can get those books again on Amazon. Get them. I like what you said earlier about how people can project their fears on you, but they also can project their successes on you.
Yeah.
And with that second book, redefining what success looks like for you is very vital and very key to some of the things that you want to accomplish, because just because your friends may be successful in X business and they project that to you does not necessarily mean that you're the best fit for that type of business. But at the same time, kind of playing devil advocate here, if you surround yourself with successful people, at some point you yourself have to be successful.
Absolutely.
But going back to the book, get the book, y'all. Get the book, because you can reshape what success looks like for you based on your book.
Yeah, I mean, it's really about just having a support system, right?
Yeah.
Friends, maybe, or family and friends. And I think this is what I love about where I'm at my age right now, because people that I've been known for the past 5 years, we have people running for office, they have nonprofits.
Right.
And when I was younger, I always wonder, like, oh my God, like, how do you know them? And it comes with time.
Yeah.
And I don't plan on running for office, but
yet. Okay.
Oh, so many people keep saying that. But just because we have a colleague that's running for office doesn't make us any less successful. That's his lane, and we have our lane, and we can still come together and break bread. And still, pump each other up.
Pop champagne.
On a regular basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so also, y'all, Michelle has a podcast. I'm telling you, she's a beast.
Over here itching. I need to come here more often.
Get some money. No, she has a podcast as well. So talk to us about your podcast. What's it called? How often does it come on? What are some of the things that you talk about?
Yes, Networking with Michelle is available on iTunes, Google Play, iHeart, all the good platforms. It's there. And what I love about my show is that I talk about, as African American and millennials, just navigating the corporate and entrepreneurship space, right? I feel like we are in our late 20s, early 30s, so we're in that transition where, we're doing the corporate thing, but it's like, what else is out there?
Right.
And I just bring in experts, influencers, thought leaders, whatever you want to call them, interview them on, what they've done, and that's actually how my book Success Undefined came about, because while I was struggling to define success, when I was interviewing these leaders, I'm like, how do you define success? And I realized that a lot of people weren't saying money. Right? So I took those answers from the podcast and I put over 60 quotes in my Success Undefined book.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, just interviewing experts on career development, business and life strategies, on how just to be a better person, whether it's in one area or all aspects of your life.
Okay. Yeah. So have there been any notables that you've worked with, whether on the podcast or through your Line 25 marketing company? Has there been anybody ooh? Yeah,
so I've been very fortunate. I was able to interview Gary Vaynerchuk. I met him in Austin 2016. Okay. So that, just making just making the most of every opportunity. And I just did a simple interview, or not even an interview, one question, recorded it on my phone, upload it. It's my podcast.
Right.
Same thing. I had a chance to meet Kirk Franklin.
Come on, Kirk.
Which I think Kirk Franklin is a musical genius,
He
he
is,
does not get that credit. And I asked him, God, what did I ask him? I asked him, it was more of a business question.
Okay.
We all know he's creative musically,
Right.
but I was like, how important is teamwork? Because you notice with him, he's always working with a different choir.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, how important is teamwork when it comes to business? So and then Lovey Ajayi, had a chance to interview her last year. So that was real cool, and
Y'all, I told y'all, Michelle Ngome, she is a beast. So I wanna on this show get like some kind of exclusive.
Oh, okay.
So is there something that you're working on the pipeline that our viewers can get the exclusive on?
I do not have a date.
Okay.
I don't have a date.
Okay.
I am working on this. Lord willing, it comes out this year, and in 2018 we are stretching. I am stretching myself, and I am writing a book on sexuality.
Okay.
And with that, pretty much I'm talking about my childhood.
Okay.
Right. One aspect that I do want to focus on is the culture struggles of being born here in the States, having Cameroon immigrant parents, and trying to navigate the waters growing up. So it's kind of like a memoir, still formulating it, and there's a lot of taboo topics that,
like what?
Well, just life.
Okay.
Life.
Okay.
Right? Life beyond being a doctor. Like,
right.
So much more going on. But somewhat of a memoir with a lot of emphasis on just being on sexuality and being comfortable in your skin and figuring out who you are. I'm really big on self-awareness. So I'm really trying to frame that narrative and get that message out. Because I don't know about you or other people, but I know there was a period in my life where I didn't feel like I belonged. Like I wasn't African enough.
Right.
And then I wasn't Black American enough.
Right. No. And even sometimes I feel like that.
Yeah.
Because, I think for our generation, being a first gen, and for those that don't know what a first gen is, it's pretty much either you were born here or you came here first generation of your family. And so being a first gen, you're having to simultaneously learn two cultures at the same time. And even as you get into your adult years, you're still finding that you really don't know all of your different aspects of culture, right? Yeah. And so I've been seeing more recently like this term being coined of like Nigerian-American or Ghanaian-American or Cameroonian-American, and people are like, what is that? That's not a real thing. And I have to tell them like, no, it really isn't a real thing, because we truly have two cultures that we're living and a part of and born into, and it's not something that you can separate, and kind of letting both of my African friends knowing that, but also your American friends knowing that, it's something that that resonates with me, because a lot of times people don't understand that until they actually get that educational moment and go to like a function, right? That may be a wedding, or it may be a birthday party, or it may just be even simple as coming to your house and seeing like, oh, this is what you meant by going to an American school and then coming home to having to cook plantains and fry rice and listening to the sounds of Fela Kuti blasting, right? You're not listening to hip hop and 102.1. You're listening to whatever your mom or your dad is into. Your mom is heavily into gospel, it's 105.7, or if your dad is into, other things music wise, you're listening to that. So when you go back to school and you're trying to still fit in with the new movies that came out of the Temptations, and you're like, for me personally, I didn't get that until I was in college. And
I tell people, and I'm trying to, once again, narrate this in my book, right? To me, that's my first time to code switch.
Right.
Like
Yes.
we were code switching without it being a black and white thing.
Right.
It's an African
American thing. And you got to do the white thing too. So it's like,
don't get me started.
Listen, we got 3 codes, y'all. 3 codes.
and it's a lot. And then it's like, well, you don't look African, and I think that's
and you don't sound it.
And I think that's why I take so much pride into my name. Like when I introduce myself, it's like Michelle Ngome.
Right.
You know, for so many reasons. But yeah, and you know, I remember being in relationships with guys like, can you cook? Well, I cook African food. Ain't no one trying to eat no rice and stew.
Rice and stew. like, why are you cooking a banana? It's Clinton.
And it's just, oh my God, yeah. It's been an awesome journey.
I'm sure, and we're still on this journey, right? Because we're still defining and shaping like what that looks like. And I like the fact that there are your Issa Rae's and your Yvonne Orji's, your Jadenas and Lovey, that they take so much pride in not just being called first black this or you're black this person, but actually taking pride in their culture. Like they're like, I'm Nigerian-American or I'm this or I'm that. And it's good because it's an educational moment, because now people begin to look and see, okay, where are they from? And if they truly are involved in their community, like you see it, like they may wear the prints, or they may, talk in their native tongue and things like that. So I think we're still not redefining, but defining literally what that looks like. It's so much easier for like Latinos and Latinas, right? Because you can say Latino American, and I'm not saying it's that much more easier, but it's something that as Americans it's easy to identify. Oh, this person was born here, or they weren't born here, but they immigrated here, or their parents did. As opposed to like Africans, it's a little bit harder because we're black. Not only that, but you grow up in a system where you have to learn how to talk slang in a sense, right? Just to fit in. And then also how to like bring your accent back out when you go home, because they don't understand that, right? Talk normal English. So anyways.
All representation matters.
Right. Okay. Well, we're going to go on a quick break. So we hope to see you when we come back. And we're back on It's Our Time. Again, I'm with special guest Michelle Ngome, and she has told us a lot about what she's doing. She is an entrepreneur with Line 25. She is an author, has 2 books, working on the 3rd one, and she has her own podcast. So I'm going to switch it up. We've been talking about a lot of business stuff, strategies, things like that, fun things. So what do you like to do for fun?
For fun, I like talking to you.
She likes talking to me.
Great conversation, good people, can have fun anywhere as long as you have good company.
Okay. So can you remind our viewers again of your products that you have and where they can find them?
Yes. So you can go to my website, michellengome.com. That's Michelle Ngome, Ngome.com. You can purchase both of my books on that website, or take you to the Amazon, and you can purchase Network, Navigate, and Nurture, or Success Undefined. And same thing with my podcast, Networking with Michelle. That's available on iTunes as well as any Android platforms.
All right. And thank you again for watching It's Our Time. We hope to see you in the next episode.